Sean from Ace Appliance in Toledo, Ohio. Welcome back to another in-home diagnostic video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com. To complete this repair for the 285671 lid switch, you'll need a number 2 Phillips, a flathead screwdriver, a 5/16 nut driver or socket. Okay, so what we're going to do is just go ahead, I'm going to move the timer into just a spin cycle and see what happens. Obviously it's in this up here at the spin. We don't get any function at all. Okay, so I have the lid open. First thing I notice is I don't hear any clicking coming from the lid switch when the lid opens or closes. Should be a subtle little click that you hear when you move the lid in this fashion. There's nothing there. So the unit is still on in the spin cycle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach under, hold the lid switch. Sometimes they'll break apart. Just use my pen to verify. See if I can. Now we can hear it click. And then obviously it functions when I hold it all together. Basically the lid switch itself is breaking. So we'll have to replace that lid switch to fix that. So now we're going to go ahead and replace the lid switch and the agitator dog. First thing I'm going to do is just unplug the washer. Now I'm going to need to access inside the control panel here. The wiring connection is here, and it will make it easier when we go to remove the 5/16 ground screw that's located basically in here. We can pull the unit open and reach in that way. So I'm going to go ahead and take out the two number 2 Phillips screws that hold the console down. I got those 2 screws out. Now I can gently slide this console forward and kind of lift up and swing it up and back. Taking caution in case there's anything back here that could damage the paint. That's why I don't do that. Now with that open, obviously it exposes everything. Here's our harness for our lid switch. What we're going to do is just go ahead and depress the tab and pull up to remove that harness. Now we're going to go ahead and loosen up these 2 clamps here. And basically what they do is they hold the top, sides, and front of the washer, the cabinet here, to the rest of the machine, the base and the back. So I use a flathead screwdriver and just place that inside a little clamp here. There's a little lip. And just push it back, and you can see here how it's positioned. And then it's tucked in the back here. We'll go ahead and just slide it in and out. Do the same on the other side. Now before we raise this cabinet off, there are 2 screws that we can take out that hold the lid switch in place. So we'll go ahead and do that first. Okay, so here's our lid switch, and you can see the 2 screws, 1 and 2, that are in place there. We're going to go ahead and just remove those. Alright, sometimes they won't come out, like in this instance, because the part of the lid switch, plastic pieces, are broken off. So you can do it one of 2 ways. I'm going to do it the way when it disassembles, so that way you can see what would not come off and why. So once we open it, flip this back, we'll go ahead and lay it down. We'll get inside the cabinet there where we'll see the entire switch, the ground screw, and then why these 2 screws here would not come out. Okay, so now everything's released from the washer, and I'm just going to kind of brace the control panel up here that's open, and then grab the front and tilt it forward. Okay, now by doing so, in order to fully remove it, I just open the lid, reach in here, use this almost as a handle, and then just lift up slightly, and there's a little lip inside the front panel that tucks underneath the frame at the base. And then we got that out, so now we can go ahead and since we have a rug here, I'm just going to go ahead and lay it all the way down. Now we can get inside of our cabinet here, fully remove that switch out of the way. Okay, so now we can kind of see the inside of the cabinet, which obviously we couldn't see from before. Here's our ground screw that we're going to need to remove. There's our lid switch dangling here because the mounting which is on the top, this is here, I'm spinning around, this is the top of it, is broken off. And the reason those screws wouldn't come out that were right here, you see the plastic that broke off the lid switch is stuck on them there. So we're going to go ahead and remove those. And I'm just going to take my drill, reach into where the screws are. And while I have it locked on, I'm just going to grasp the plastic piece. Just hold it. And then it'll just screw off. And then I'll be able to remove the screw. Drop that down. And we're going to do the same for the next screw. Hold the plastic. Got our other screw out of the way. Now we got our 5/16 ground screw that's going to be in the way, or that needs to be removed. So go ahead and take it out. Just drop that so that everything's together. Now we have it, everything removed there. Okay, so the next step we're going to do to remove the lid switch, up along here, the wiring, that's where the wiring is, and it goes up along the back to where our plug was. So what we're going to do is just kind of pry this back. You can use a flat blade screwdriver if you like. I use my finger, and then just push the tube up once we do it. So I'm going to go ahead and grasp that piece. So we just pulled it out of right in there, so now it's loose. Now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing to the one that's up at the top. Okay, so the last clip here, basically going to do the same thing as we did before. Kind of just try to pry it down, so you kind of force the wires out. Get them out of the lid. So it just came out of that clip just like that. Alright, now the final step to removing it is take the plug out. There's a little tab right here, and a little tab on the other side. And all we're going to do is just press them in. That time we only press the one, and obviously the switch falls out. Okay, so we have our new switch. We're ready to go ahead and install it. On this particular model, the way that the switch comes is it's got this long, solid piece of plastic. Now, not all the models you'll be able to use, but on this one, we should be able to use it on there. So the first thing we're going to do, sometimes you can break it like I've done here to allow more flexibility. You can remove it if you need it shorter. So that's what it's designed, so that way it fits into every application. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take my plug and plug it through into this hole here. It'll only fit one way, it's keyed. So we're just going to go ahead and push that into position. Obviously you hear it snap into place. Next thing I'm going to do is route my wiring. Just like I took it out of the clip, I'm going to do it the opposite way this time. I'm going to go ahead and pull that tab back and just tuck the wires behind it. Obviously we're going to do the exact same thing on the side here, which has all of this for the, we'll say the tubing. Pull it back, tuck it back in, and that's going to hold that there. So now we have our switch, which is going to go in this area here, and then our ground wire, which is going to go right here. So we attach the ground wire, and then finally the last step is to attach our switch in this fashion here. Okay, so we're going to attach our switch. We got our screws from earlier. Just going to kind of line this up. Just kind of open the lid up, get the screws in, and then take our drill here with the number 2 Phillips in it and tighten it down. Now, I don't want to crank that one down yet because I got to get another screw in still, so I'm going to do the same thing. And then tighten this one down. We can go ahead and tighten this one down all the way. Now there's no need to over tighten, it's all plastic. Now it's mounted. See that switch is in there sturdy. And then now we can set the cabinet back up and reattach the cabinet to the base and frame. Okay, so now we're going to put the cabinet back onto the washing machine here at the base. And just like last time in reverse fashion, I'm going to go ahead and just open the lid, which basically allows me to use this as kind of like a handle. And I got to tuck, there's a lip on the inside here at the front. I got to tuck that under the frame, and then I'm just going to gently roll this back. I'm going to grab this just to sturdy it. And I'm just going to gently make sure everything looks like it's lined up. Before I forget, I can go ahead and plug in the harness like I am now. Just plug it right in. And we got our clamps that we're going to go ahead and secure the cabinet to the base. Okay, we have the cabinet secured. I'm going to go ahead and take my two clips. I'm going to tuck them up here onto the back panel first. And all I'm going to do is just use my hand, snap it down in position. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Just like that. Now we can go ahead and roll our control panel down. Gently, we don't want to force it because we got plastic little legs, I'll call them, that are going to go into the cabinet. Get that in position, and we can go ahead and put our 2 1/4-inch screws in that will secure our control or console onto the cabinet. It's all plastic, don't want to over tighten. So we'll get them in there to where they feel snug. Make sure it doesn't move, which it doesn't. That's all set then. Thank you for watching another quality in-home diagnostic video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.